welcome to the Foreign Correspondents Club of South Asia. We are delighted to co-host the screening of this award-winning film in collaboration with our friends in the Embassy of the Russian Federation in New Delhi. We are delighted to have the Deputy Ambassador, Mr. Babushkin, with us. This film was made in 1959. We will begin with the screening of the film. After that, there are several Russian-speaking Indian friends who are educated in Russia who know a lot about films, and we'll have a discussion about that. And nice to have you, Rajiv. Nice to have you, Lovely, and our friend there. And thank you all for coming. Let us see the film now, and after that we will have a discussion. Thank you. Put up the lights and...
Thank all of you. Thank you very much. I must highly appreciate this opportunity because we are gathering today on the eve of the most important date in the Russian history. So it is the 81st anniversary of the victory of the Soviet Union over Nazi Germany. Thank you. So, and these events that happened 81 years and more ago take very special place in the modern Russian history. It was an existential struggle of the Soviet people against Nazism for all the ethnic groups of the Soviet Union who were subjected to genocide, inhuman treatment, tortures, slavery, starvation at the German concentration camps. The USSR had made the biggest contribution to liberate the world from Nazism and Nazi threat, having lost 27 million of people. Can you imagine how big was the damage done to the country? No one family in Russia remained untouched by this tragedy. And the memory of that war is deep inside of us, generation after the generation. A lot of dimension of these events, and the world, for example, has gained the current modern international system and decolonization, and the UN-based international order based on the principles of sovereign equality of nations, mutual respect, collective responsibility for peace and security. The Nuremberg Tribunal against the Nazi leaders established to criminalize their crimes against humanity, which have no statute of limitations, was supposed to be point of no return of Nazi ideology, but apparently not all lessons were learned. So, in this context, so just would like to make a very important point, which will make you maybe better understand what is the current Russian stance on the security crisis in Europe right now, is that it was purposefully Nazi factor which was played against Russia when the Ukrainian crisis was provoked, when neo-Nazi forces came to power in Kiev in 2014 with the direct support from the Western capitals, which covered Ukraine into the geopolitical tool against Russia. That's a very important point, actually, just to understand the complexity of the situation and why it is so important for Russia. So, but coming back to the main topic of today's gathering, So I would like to stress that the memory of the Great Patriotic War, which culminated in the victory of the Soviet Union, became an integral, undeniable and natural part of the Russian national character and culture. It created the entire layer of in the Soviet Union in literature, music, art and cinema dedicated to unparalleled and proud deeds of the Soviet people during that war. That's why it's indeed my great privilege to welcome you at this special screening of the Soviet cinema classic The Fate of a Man by the famous Soviet director Sergei Bondarchuk, made in 1959. It is still one of the most powerful testimonies to the Soviet people's victory and tragedy at the same time. It is a story of a simple soldier who lost his family, but the culmination came when he saved an orphan boy and the faith in humanity returned to him. For Russian people, this film is a mirror of unimaginable suffering of people and the quiet, stubborn heroism that was behind the ultimate triumph over misanthropy. That's why the Victory Day, which we celebrate on May 9, holds such a profound meaning. It's not only about military victory, but also remembrance, gratitude, and a reminder that peace should never be taken for granted. That day we also cherish all countries of anti-Hitler coalition, including India, for their contribution to the defeat of Nazism. We therefore once again highly appreciate this opportunity provided the Foreign Correspondents Club of South Asia and specifically His Excellency Mr. Van Venkat for this opportunity. So certainly the memory and the tragedy and aftermath of the Second World War is our shared legacy. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Mr. Babushkin. We will now see the film. Kindly put out the lights and start the screening. Thank you. First, get our friends to talk about it. Dr. Savit? Each one of us may about 5 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Avin. Thank you. Well, after seeing such a movie, as a film, which causes catharsis, it's difficult to speak. I would like to speak only about one aspect which comes out very poignantly in this film, and that is Ruski character, Russian character. You know, if you recall that scene in the film where Sakharov is called by the German commandant and offer the drinks and the bread. Generally, when Russians drink, they must eat something after every drink. And he didn't eat the bread. Do you know why? Can you guess? He wanted to put this bread into his pocket and take to the camp and share with his comrades. Share it. It's not shown in the film that way, but it is, since I'm a student of literature, Russian literature, that's what we were interpreting, that's how we were interpreting, that he wanted to go and share with his comrades there back in the camp. Also, there is a very important word, Ruskaya Dusha. Russian is almost untranslatable, cannot be translated into English, particularly in the English. Some people say Russian soul. In Hindi, some people say it could be man. But both of them are inadequate. And that comes out very, very vividly in this film. You know, in fact, I was in tears when I was watching this movie. That's what Russians have gone through. Now the war is also going on now also. But one thing is sure about Russian character and Russian Dusha. They are so down to earth. And at the same time, they are not petty. They never indulge in petty talks and pettifogging. But when somebody comes to fight with them, there is nobody who is more ferocious than a Russian character. There are several other films. I'll just conclude. There's a film called Khachat li Ruskiye Vojny. Khachat li Ruskiye Vojny. Russians don't want war. Nobody has seen the horrors of war than Russians. The wars, even the present war, has been imposed on them. Right in the beginning of this war, I had written a small thing on the Facebook that it's tragic that two brothers, Slav brothers, are made to fight by the expansionist NATO. This war again has been imposed on them by NATO. The people, the Western propaganda does not tire saying that it's Putin who has done it. The root cause was much deeper. So, very good that I got a chance to study in Russia, like lovely, like other friends, and know Russian people firsthand. How great is their dusha. It's almost, like Siberia, It's in Russian there's a word, neobiyatnaya, which cannot be, measured or which cannot be, And good that you have taken initiative to show such films. I believe there is a film, Lichya Zhuravli, Cranes Are Flying. This again is a great film. With these words, I would like to express my gratitude to Navneet, who invited me. I didn't know that this was happening here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Rajiv. I'm from the Film and Television Institute of India. I specialized in motion picture photography. I was a student at the FTI. I think I was about 20 years old. Now I'm a senior citizen. So that's how I saw these films. FTI had a great collaboration with Russia. And the first few films that we got for our library were from there because of the political connections of Pandit Nehru and Mrs. Indira Gandhi. So at that time, we used to wonder, we used to even see Polish films, and there was so much of impact of the World War. And we were so different, we had no awareness of it. And at year 20, you cannot have that kind of experience. So this little child we have seen here, he has already experienced so much. So it's a memorable film. It's a textbook. It's an honor to be here to see a film of Sergei Bonachuk, and a fabulous director. He's an actor too. He's acted in it. He's directed, and every frame of it. You have to own the frame, and every frame of it is absolutely marvelous. It really is something that a student should try to understand, see, and see it over and over again to get a complete feel of it. If there's anything anybody would like to ask me, it would be a pleasure to answer.
And may I now invite Catalina?
Dear friends, I would like to thank you one more time for coming here and spending your time with us, watching this wonderful, beautiful movie, which is really important for all of us, especially during that week, as we dedicated this screening for the upcoming Victory Day. This movie is really, really special for the whole nation. Because it shows the human dignity in the face of inhumanity, and you wouldn't find any person in Russia or in any post-Soviet country whose relatives were not participating in that war. And I also have personal connection to that because my grandfather, he was a soldier who finished the war in Prague and then participated in 11 parades on Red Square as an already army officer. So the history of all my family is deeply connected to the period of time. And we are really proud that that kind of movie, which during the Soviet times first was not really popular because it wasn't really a good topic to talk about prisoners of war in general. But still, it really showcased the spirit, this soaring, that harm that we faced. And this movie gained many awards. The first Moscow International Film Festival Award in 1959, and then other international ones, even in Melbourne, they got an award. And the story is, the movie is based on the story of Mikhail Sholokhov, who is also a Nobel Prize winner. So it was, finally it's a magical combination of a story, of great director. It's actually Sergei Bondarchuk's debut movie. So and you can see how it was, what was the result of his first movie. It is a very significant piece of art and piece of history for all of us. That is why I really wanted to bring it here, and we are really grateful to all of you who came and shared that experience with us. Thank you.
I now want to invite few words. Most of you know Loveleen. She studied in Russia. She has a PhD, and many Russian leaders who come to India during Mrs. Gandhi's time and Rajiv's time, Loveleen used to interpret the Russian leaders to them in English from Russian. Loveleen.
Thank you. I have a bad throat, so please bear with me. Well, first of all, I want to thank the Russian Embassy very much for gracing the occasion, for making it happen, and want to thank Chair of Foreign Correspondence Club. Want to thank Abhay Maurya, who was so sentimental about it, and of course Rajiv from FTI. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. No, little bit. My laughter remains the same, but the voice back here. So all I have to say is, it's not just a piece of art. It's much more than that, much more. Written by Sholokhov, the great writer. And the way Sergei Bondarchuk presented the film, I think that's my favorite. It's much more than a piece of art. One thing that I noticed, Rajiv will agree, the shots, the track shots in 1959, the way they were taken, it's amazing. The track shots, you found the round track, you found the straight track, the close-ups, the pullbacks, the zooms. It's an amazing, amazing technique. Even the dissolves for 1959 are amazing dissolves going from one scene to the other. Did you notice that, Meenakshi? You noticed the way they dissolved. And acting part, I don't think anyone can say even one word which does not justify every frame. The way all the artists acted, none was overacting. There was absolutely no melodrama, despite having a big, big canvas for melodrama. Nobody, not one artist, overdid the scene.
Microphone.
It was a very contained. I think I'll speak the country. It was a very contained acting, very sophisticated, very real, and very beautifully done. Even when you've taken a close-up, then you go behind the shot, it's all merging so beautifully that I think all I can say is that we're very lucky to be here, to have watched this film. And I know we're not too many left here, but if there are any questions to the panel, please.
May I say a few words about the Russian cinema? When we speak of Russian cinema, one name immediately comes to mind, Sergei Eisenstein. His 1925 film Battleship Potemkin, made 101 years ago, is considered one of the greatest films ever made. The famous Odessa Steps sequence is still taught in film schools across the world. I may have seen it on YouTube at least half a dozen times. So Russian cinema is not just another national industry. It actually helped shape the language of cinema itself. Today, Russia continues to have a significant film industry. It produces roughly between 140 to and 200 films every year. Much of this filmmaking is supported by the state, which has been a tradition since the Soviet times. Despite recent geopolitical challenges and the reduced presence of Hollywood films, Russian cinema has adapted to focusing more on domestic stories and audiences. Now coming to India's connection with Russia, this goes back many decades. In the 1950s and 60s, Raj Kapoor was hugely popular across the Soviet Union. Films like Avara and Shri 420 made him household name for many Russians. Raj Kapoor was not just a film star, he was the face of India. The kind of popularity may not exist today, but Indian cinema still has a presence in Russia. It is more selective and event-driven now rather than widespread as it used to be in the 50s. A very good example is the recent visit of Allu Arjun and Rashmika Mandanna to Moscow and St. Petersburg in 2022 to promote their film Pushpa, The Rise. They were welcomed by enthusiastic audiences and the film was released in Russia, showing that there is still curiosity and appreciation for Indian cinema. As for Indian stars today, the popularity is more global than country specific. Shah Rukh Khan remains one of the most recognizable Indian faces worldwide. Amir Khan is respected for his content-driven films, and more recently, South Indian cinema has made an impact internationally with stars like Rajnikant and films like RRR reaching global audiences. So from Eisenstein's revolutionary cinema to today's global film exchanges, Russia and India share a long and fascinating cinematic connection. The scale and nature of that connection may have changed over time, but the cultural bridge built by cinema continues to remain strong. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. We'll spend 5 minutes.
No question.
No questions? All right. Okay. Thank you, Katarina. Thank you, Rajulji. Thank you. Sorry?
Question.
One question, yeah. With a microphone, then.
NATO is mentioned by you, but as we all know that Russia has been pushed by NATO. Now, what do you consider as the base reason for not actually accepting Putin's proposal of becoming a member of NATO?
Putin's proposal, Russia wanted to become member of NATO.
Yes, yes. Putin indicated once. I believe in 2007 time.
You see, there was a tilt in the Soviet Russian policy. They were, after the collapse of Soviet Union, they were tilting very much toward the West.
Yes.
In fact, I was in Moscow State University as a stagiaire in 1992, when Soviet Union was collapsing, almost had collapsed. And there was on the television I saw an interview by this Russian deputy foreign minister. His name was Gunadze. And the question was that what will happen to India, your relationship with India now that you have West as your friend. So he said, India, we don't need India anymore. India was needed when the Cold War was on and as an important ally, but now that Cold War is over, so India is not needed. And I had some Russian friends in my room at that time, and मेरे मुंह से एकदम से निकला, "Pagazi pakavam nidadu pacheripu." Wait till they give you. It's a typical Russian phrase which cannot be translated. It can be translated in a vulgar way. So that's what has happened. Russia was looking towards West at that time, and Putin, I don't know, Putin wanted so much, but Yeltsin very much was in it. So after that, you know that things have come a long way, and they have learned hard way. Now they've learned the West they can. You know, there is I want to take you back to 1920s. There was a Russian poet, Merezhkovsky. No, not Mayakovsky, Merezhkovsky. He said Russia's that emblem has two heads. So he said two things. He said one, that Russia Russia is what you call is the face of East, looking towards the West. Russia is the face of the East, looking towards the West. In the second thing, he said, East is motherland, no, West is alien land, and East is motherland. So there has been historically among writers that we thought there was a very strong movement which considered Russia as part of the East, and in the East the most important country has been India. So now they have learned the hard way, and NATO of course was understood that Russia cannot be their friends, so they wanted to destroy Russia, and Ukraine is being used.
But Putin, as far as I know, has always been pro-India. And in all the difficult times, Soviet Union and Russia have always stood by us.
I
Always.
think he still is.
He is very much.
Yeltsin wasn't.
Yeltsin was a different cup of tea.
Pro-Western idea.
Yeah.
He was a different cup of tea.
Okay, that is politics. Actually, this is about film. Let us, okay?
The movie is also very political. It's about the war.
Yeah.
Connection to today's war. Well, I teach in Germany, and I'm very isolated there since about 4 years. Defending election all the time. The Germans around me, West Germany, are the fervor in Germany among intellectuals, students, normal, is so anti-Russia. It's so anti-Russia, it's hard to, I just don't know what happened.
But we are pro-Russian.
Well, I know. I live 4 months every year in India. That's why I'm very isolated there with my pro-Russian stance. So they believe that, and they tell me all the time, and I can't digest that Putin wants the old glory of the Soviet Empire, and he is coming to swallow the entire European continent, and that's their argument to mobilize the re-weaponization of Europe. That's what I understand, but I would like to know from you guys what you think of this. And second question is, very small one.
What's your question?
My question is, how do you view this Western view, which is not just a game? If the politicians say that, I'll understand that as a game. But among the normal society of Germany, I hear they actually all believe, the newspapers, society, the normal people, that Putin has grand ideas of reinstating the old Soviet glorified empire. He wants to even take over Europe. Now, that could be a narrative of the state, the German state. But when the public also believes in it, so either they are all stupid and naive. I find myself very lonely there, trying to protect my Russian stance, because I don't buy all this. But I would like to know from you guys, because I don't speak Russian.
Actually, you must be in the western part of Germany. In the eastern part, that feeling is not there.
That is also in the eastern part with the Eastern landscape, which is in between.
But, of course, Russia historically, in literature I see that the West has never loved Russia. Never, ever. Starting, there are anecdotes about Russia, about Catherine II. Russia has been, they have never understood Russia, they always feared Russia. Though Russia never attacked, particularly the Soviet time. And so far the thought that Putin wants to restore the Soviet Empire, he would have liked to. He feels very bad about it, that this not empire, but Soviet Union collapsed. But he knows that it cannot be restored. So he is not trying to do that. So it's a false propaganda that Putin wants to restore Soviet Union. It's a false propaganda and false narrative.
And I think also, you need some interesting topic at dinner. So people who are bored will talk like this. People when they have nothing else to talk about start attacking Russia. But Russia has not done anything to provoke that.
And why is Russia not winning? I mean, why is it not having these advances? I mean, why is Russia not winning the war? Why Russia has taken about 4
Why do you
years?
say they are not winning?
I mean, we have still the same map of Donbass.
Only 15% of Donbass is left.
Yeah.
The whole of Donbass, whole of Lugansk, the entire thing has been Crimea is already there.
The Crimea was taken.
Yeah, and only less than 15% is left. Which they wanted to win. That's all. But you see, the whole world is against us. America, the whole West, the entire, it's not Ukraine that is fighting the
And
war.
that's what
It is the West which is fighting the war.
We talked
It's a
about-
proxy
It's a
war.
proxy war.
Dusha,
Yeah.
Dusha, the Russian spirit is so strong that there is no way that they'll succumb to this.
And I keep telling them, that's my last submission or one line, that perhaps Russia would not like to kill their Ukrainian brethren because they don't see Ukrainians as foreigners.
Yeah.
And that's why they will be out this. I don't know.
Yeah, well, gentlemen and ladies, thank you very much. We must call this off. If you are interested in discussing politics, there is a bar and a kitchen. You are most welcome to sit there and talk. Thank you very much and good night.